Youngsville has been under scrutiny in the past over officials not being held to a higher standard. How do you hope to build trust back into that community?
So I think the biggest part of building trust back into the community is being involved in the community. Youngsville is a rapidly growing community, and with that there's been a lot of growing pains. And during that growth period, the community has become detached from the police department. And when you had the issues with the scandals and things that are going on in the community, that has further separated the community from the police department. So I think you got to get back into the community. You have to have these discussions with the community, and you have to build that trust back. And it starts also within the department. You have officers who may not trust other officers because of things. So you have to build that trust in the department and then expand it out into the community and work with the community to solve the crime issues in the community.
What are changes that you would like to implement if you do win the election?
Okay. So the first thing, if I were to win the election, the first thing I would want to do is what I'm going to call a comprehensive operational review. And that would basically entail going through the entire department of fine-tooth comb, from operations to budget to training and retention and hiring and everything. I do have ideas as far as what I would like to see the department become, but I think it would be premature at this point for me to say, I want to go in and do X or I want to go in and do Z, simply because you have to understand the dynamics of the organization first. It would be inappropriate to say, I'm going to go remove this position or make this change without understanding first the full impact of doing so. So the comprehensive operational review is essential. It is critical to go on in there, examining things as they are today before making any decisions on changes.
What will you be able to provide differently than those of the other candidates running for the position?
So I think I am uniquely qualified for the position for several reasons. One, I have been a part of the community in Youngsville for almost 40 years now. That is the community where I have grown up. That is the community I love. That is the community where I intend to stay. I've raised my family there. I'm a father, a grandfather, a husband. So I'm really deeply tied to that community. Aside from that, I have roughly 15 years of law enforcement experience. As a law enforcement officer, I served in several roles, mostly supervisor, managerial, or administrative roles. I was an accreditation manager, an operations manager, as well as a police recruit, background investigator, and a training officer with the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office for almost 15 years. When I left the sheriff's office and went into the private sector, I began working in private security and private investigative work, and that's the work I continue to do this day. So overall, I have about 25 years of experience combined in law enforcement, private security, private investigations. That is something different than the other candidates bring to the table. And I'd like to leverage what I know in private security, private investigations, as well as law enforcement, to see what we can do to address a lot of what I'm going to call special security concerns in our community, which would be our parks, our schools, our senior living facilities, things of that sort.